York staple, and she's known throughout the world, but she born and bred here in New York City. She actually is one of the best point guards to play at St. Bonaventure. St. Bonaventure. I didn't go to she went there. I want to bring to the stage the court Priscilla Edwards.
Areas, just so I can get an idea, how many like high school coaches are here? High school, okay. How many like college, like Division 2, Division 3 coaches do we have here? Okay, a couple of Division 1 coaches, and Division 1 coaches, the rest of the Division coaches. NAIA, those coaches. Anybody I'm missing? Coaching yet? Like people who are trying to get into coaching? All right, so yeah, mostly high school coaches, perfect. All right, so what I'm going to talk about today is actually something that Mark and I have talked about for like years, right? And you know, we're both passionate about basketball, you know, from New York City, and you know, there's always this constant conversation about where the state of New York City basketball is, right? Grassroots basketball, especially. A lot of people think it's on the decline, you know, and I mean, there's a lot of figures being pointed about where and why, right? Some people think it's the kids don't work hard enough, it's social media, it's this, that, the other, it's all these things, right? Some people think it's coaching. Oh, they're not getting good coaching. Some people blame trainers. You know, the trainer's fault. Right? So, you know, there's a lot of things and a lot of conversation about development, and there's a lot of things about, you know, are players being developed as they need to? Are they missing out? You know, and why? So I appreciate this so much because I think part of the solution is spaces like this where coaches can kind of come together and share. Right? You look on higher levels, you look at different, especially on the men's side, right? They're in constant conversation about sharing things. You know, whether they're calling each other up, whether there's clinics, they're constantly sharing things. And I think sometimes, you know, as being a New Yorker, we're not so open in terms of sharing things, especially when it comes to when you think someone else is getting an advantage. So I think this is necessary. I think it's great, you know, and I think it's one of those things where, you know, it's needed to help to grow the game. All right, so I'm going to talk about getting to the next level, preparing for the next level. The next level can mean a lot of things. It can mean helping a player transition from junior varsity to varsity. It can mean helping a high school senior transition to college. You know, it can mean as coaches, right? If you're coaching high school and you want to coach college, what does that entail? Right? And just to kind of open things up, a few things that are so important to me is that we're all learners and we all need to continue to grow. And I think as coaches and trainers and educators, we have to be in a constant state of self-evaluation, right? And understanding that, okay, here's my goal. I'm trying to make players better. What's the best way to do that? Right? And the best way to do that is to continually learn and assess that what you did last year may not work the next year, right? Every team is different. Every individual player is different. Every skill set is different. Athleticism, all those things. So when you take all of that into consideration, then you start to understand that what you want to teach and what you're passionate about may not align with the player or the team that you're working with. Right? So I think that's one of the first things is as we continue to learn as coaches, we also understand that we may have what we want to teach, we may have what we like, we may be motivated or inspired by the things that we see, but when we have this team in front of us, or we have this player or this group of players we're working with in front of us, what is best for them? What's going to help them grow, right? And then you can kind of strategically plan how you plan on developing them throughout the season. Okay, so what I'm going to talk about specifically is based around foundation, because we know in all things related to basketball and really life, you have to have that strong, firm foundation to build from. And one of the things that I want you guys to think about before we get going is if you're coaching a team right now, or if you're training with kids right now consistently, is to think about where they are foundationally in terms of the aspects of basketball. I like to break it down into 5 to 6 major categories when I'm looking at players and teams that we're coaching. And those areas are ball control and passing, I kind of pair them together, finishing, shooting, all right, IQ, aka feel for the game, and footwork. So take a moment right now and think about your team. And I want you to think about where they lie from number 1 to number 13, or how many people you have on your team, where they lie in those areas. And if you're not really sure, I implore you to do this next week or whenever you have them in the gym. Take them through a 30 to 45 minutes based on just skill. Meaning the basics. Have them run through layups with the left and right hand. Have them just basic passing, chest pass, bounce pass, skip pass, drift pass, pass to the left, pass to the right, post entries. Have them taking basic stepping jumpers, right? Have them explain to you their reasoning after you guys play pickup of some of the decisions they made. And as you're kind of going through these things, you can chart them too. Chart how many shots they're making. If they're taking 20 shots, how many do they make? If they're taking 10 layups to the left, right, how many do they make? And as you're looking at these numbers, if you're noticing that your players are missing a great deal of those shots, or those percentages are not where they need to be, then I would implore you to completely scrap your practice plans, right, and prioritize skill. Because as you guys are putting together your game plans for this year, your offenses and your flex screens and your ball screens, they all require skill. And if you don't have the personnel or the players who are skilled enough to even dribble, then how are they going to run your ball screen offense? So a lot of times when we think about developing and getting players ready for the next level, we think about, oh, I can go and have this, or I can run this, or that's a great screen, or this is a great out-of-bounds play. But can you have someone who's getting inbound the basketball? Can you have someone who has the IQ or the understanding, or even understands the reads of what they're looking for as they're coming off of these screens or making these passes? And if you can start from there, right, and now prioritize your practice accordingly, I think you can get a lot further in terms of the goals that you're setting, which is winning championships, winning games, or developing players into All-Americans, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. Right? So does that make sense so far? So I talked about those 5 areas that we're going to go, and I'm trying to get through as many of them as possible. But if anything else, trying to teach you some concepts or share some concepts that I felt could work for me. And when you talk about those 5 areas, the next thing that I do is I break them down into 3 stages. And yes, I'm a Virgo and I'm super listy, so there's going to be a lot of listening going on here. So the 3 stages of laying that foundation to me are the teaching phase. This is just where you're introducing the concept or the skill to them, right? So if we're talking about ball handling or ball control, you're teaching them, all right, these are the different types of dribbles. And I'm talking about even on the college level, we go this basic, right? We teach them efficiency of dribble. These are how many dribbles you should take to get there, right? We teach them the purpose of the dribbles, right? This is when you use your back dribble. Because we assume a lot of things when it comes to basketball. We assume that players know way more than they actually do, right? And sometimes when you start to address these things, then you realize, oh, they didn't even know what a back dribble was, So the teaching phase, the second thing is going to be the rep phase. And that's the phase that encompasses reps of the shot, so the skill, right? And then also, it encompasses just the technique. You get down to really showing them, this is where your foot should be. Right? This is where the ball should be. This is why the ball should be here. And you rep it and you rep it and you rep it until it becomes second nature to them. And then the third part of that is the live phase. Right? This is when we put them in the situation to do it against defense. And sometimes it's structured, sometimes you just roll the ball out and say, go, figure it out. Right? But in that phase, you're hoping that the teaching and the reps, now they're able to apply it to a live situation. Okay, so when I go through the different workouts that I do with even our players, or when I was coaching high school, or I was coaching different groups of people, I never ever felt like one phase was done. So just because you're doing things live doesn't mean that you forget about the teaching and reps. You always have to go back to it if it's not where it needs to be. In practice right now, literally, we work on the same things every day, probably 101 ways, but it's to accomplish the same thing. Getting in their brain exactly what they need to do, how they need to do it, at what pace they need to do it, and how to do it against defense or duress when people are trying to take the ball from them. Right? So when we talk about ball control and we talk about passing, let me get volunteers, preferably folks that are skilled. You know, right? Haven't sat down. Right? Come on up. All right, so here's the other thing about it. When it comes to development, all of your drills, everything you do should be centered around how you play. Right? So you may see things on YouTube that look cool, but how do you play? Right? And every nuance and every part of your drill should incorporate how you play. So for example, right now, Providence is playing 5 out. So everything that we do is based around 5 out spacing. Okay? So right now we say we'll have, you guys three will have the 3 open spots. So we'll have the top of the key, we'll have the wing, we'll have the other wing. I'll take that ball for a second. Alright, and most of the time when we're in the preseason and we're working on preseason drills, we want to try to incorporate as many of the skills as possible and use that as like the warm-up. Right? So right now, we're working on a ball handling and ball control drill, but we're also going to work on finishing, we're also going to work on footwork, we're also going to work on getting to spots and moving without the ball, right? So you can knock out a lot of different things when you're looking at a drill. If you can accomplish multiple things that matter to your offense, the better, all right? So with this drill, we're going to start with the basic reversal. So the ball is always going to start here, and the reason why we start with the basic reversal is because reversals are super important when you're playing 5 out. You have to move the ball. So in this drill, I could start with the ball as a coach, but why? When I can give her a chance to focus on reversing the ball. Okay, so the goal of this, I call this the 3-2-1 drill. Okay, for a lot of reasons. There's 3 people, right? The goal is to stay under 3 dribbles, okay, and then you kind of count your way down from 3 dribbles to 2 dribbles to eventually 1 dribble. So her job is to reverse the ball through, and when it gets through to the side, your job is to attack the paint. You have 3 dribbles to do it, right? And on that 3rd dribble, if you need to, right, you're taking this layup. Once you take this layup, you're grabbing it right out of the net, and you're going to be passing it to your teammate who's doing the same thing in 3 dribbles. Ripping and attacking, right? Once you get that, you're kicking it out, same thing. But the kick is, you guys have to move every time a person attacks, right? So as the ball gets reversed through, and he attacks, There's way more talking. There's way more sprinting to spots, right? There's way more aggression when we're attacking the paint, right? But based on the level where you guys are at, there's different things that you may be emphasizing, right? That you want them to do. Maybe they're not moving the first time around, but you want them to just focus on being still and being ready. All of that is up for interpretation. All of that is up for what matters to you or what you're prioritizing at the moment. And with the understanding that you can always build up and progress as they pick up and progress what you're doing. Okay, so right now we're going to 2 dribbles. How many? 2 dribbles. Right, we're going to start this way with it. Here we go, reverse ball. Snap it, throw behind. 2, good. Trouble. All right, let's restart. Now here's the deal, right? And as we're going through this, it's really, really easy to allow people to have bad habits. It's really easy to allow the other 2 on the perimeter to not say anything. It's really easy to have them standing straight up, waiting for the pass to go or watching. It's really easy to have them not have their hands out. But what matters to your offense, right? When you guys get to playing games and they're just standing there and you're yelling like, you gotta move. Did you emphasize that every day in practice? Because if not, you can't expect them to bust it out, when it comes game time. So whatever you allow in practice, whatever you allow in training sessions or workouts, is what's going to become the habit of your players. So right now, when we're going through this, we're going 2 dribbles, but we're making sure that as she attacks, you guys are sprinting to the next spot. Calling for the ball with your hands ready and your feet ready so that when it's time to go, there's no shuffling of the feet. You're just ready to go. You got that? All right, let's try it out. Good. Sprint behind. Ready? Good. Right out. Kick it, 7. You didn't move. Here we go. Last one. Kick it out. Attack. 2. There you go. Finish. Right? Now let's progress this really quick. Back to those same spots. So now we're going to turn this into a passing drill. So we're reversing the ball through. As you attack, you're going 2 dribbles. Every time we're jump stopping, landing on 2, and pivoting to pass. Perfect pass out. So we're not getting a shot until the 3rd pass. You guys got that? All right, let's move with it. Reverse it through. Attack the paint. Jump stop. Good pass. Good pass. Yeah, you're attacking. Yep. There you go. Reverse the ball through. Start from right there. Here we go. Tack it. 2 dribbles. Good. Pass it. Good. Tack the paint. You're attacking. You see what we got going on? We're still doing the same exact thing. But everybody's just jump stopping and passing. The 3rd person to go is scoring the layup. All right, here we go. Got you. Good kick. Come on, Zach. Let's off. Now that wasn't terrible, right? Wasn't terrible. Back to those spots. She admitted it, right? We got that going on. The other part of that is when we're jump stopping in the paint, right? You want to land soft, right? But I don't know where I'm passing it to if no one says anything. Something as simple as that. I'm in the paint. Imagine there's defense in girls basketball? How many times, especially in New York, do you go to a game or West Sport and it's go, 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 running people over left and right?
That's how we get charges.
That's how we get charges.
That's how we get
Shout out
it.
to the charge drill, right? But they're just running people over left and right. So we talk about pivoting, and we talk about jump stopping, getting players to understand and read, right? There's multiple ways to pass. Not all of them have to be off the dribble going 90 miles per hour with no control. So every time that we're doing this drill, we might do it where we're passing it off the dribble. We might do it where we're jump stopping every time. We might do it where we're jump stopping and pivoting at least twice every single time. So that they're getting it in their mind that you have options when you get into the paint. You don't have to force a shot. You don't have to run people over, right? And if you're patient enough, 3 seconds may seem like it's quick, but it's a ton of time. Someone will get open for you if you pivot, because that allows you to see. Right? So emphasizing jump stopping, pivoting in girls basketball, if you don't, it's something that's so important. What do you got?
Emphasizing jump stopping, pivoting, you said girls basketball. I think it's just universal. Like I think like a lot of high school coaches, even on the men's side, the boys' side, they kind of don't speak about pivoting and everything like that. Coach Marley can actually back me up on this because he was at our open gym last week, and the first thing we did before we touched the ball for about 10 minutes was a completely just different jump stop series, right? You were there, right? We did it. Jump stop. We worked on jump stop. We worked on emphasizing the jump stop. Worked on pivoting with your right foot, pivoting with your left foot, pivoting, reverse pivoting with your right foot, reverse pivoting with your left foot, different things like that. So just to back up on that, I think that's like the biggest thing. So like when you play a team that wants to take charges in the gap, we try to avoid as many charges as possible. So if you work on pivoting and jump stopping every day, you'll see that your team will commit less turnovers and less charges game by game. And that gives you more offensive possession, which allows you to be more successful at having a chase.
Absolutely. The gym. That's that. But it's huge. I mean, one of the people that I follow, one of the coaches, is Jay Wright. If you ever want to see what it looks like for a team, everyone on that team, skilled passing, watch Jay Wright. All of them jump stop, all of them pivot, all of them can throw left-hand passes, right-hand passes, passes off the bounce, passes off 2 feet. It's a thing of beauty, right? So it's so important. Another pass that's underrated, and then we'll go to some other areas in basketball, in the grassroots level, post entries. Post entries. How many of you guys have post players? Shout out to the post players. How many times in the summer when you run up and down the court and actually get a legitimate post entry? Look at that, you gotta think about it. Post entries. Every summer we go on the road in July, and just to entertain myself, I'll track the amount, if I'm following one team for the day, I'll track the amount of legitimate post entries that are made in the game. I watched the team play, I think 5 times in one day, and counted 5 post entries. 5 games, 5 post entries. I ain't great at math, but that equals about not enough post entries a game, right? So, how many of you guys as high school coaches right now, keep it up, work on post entries every day? To some extent. It's so important. We're talking about preparing for the next level. I'm pretty sure you have post players on your team, but we are actually aiding to the negligence, the neglect that post players experience because we don't emphasize the importance of post entries, right? So, for example, our team, we were a really good three-point shooter team last year. We had 3 really good three-point shooters. But this year, we knew that they were graduating, but we had 2 really good post players. From the end of our season last year to all the way into the preseason right now, which we just completed, every drill we did, every workout we did had some type of level of post-entry passing, where we incorporated so if we were doing a finishing drill, it was after we made a post-entry. If we were doing a screening drill, it was after, or we had to get a post touch before we could score. So we emphasized and we got it in their minds early that we will play through the post, you will look at the post, you will pass it to the post, you will know how understanding that if you want to get the ball into the post, one, you have to emphasize it, right? Two, you have to make sure that, again, it fits with the spots in your offense. So if you're a team that plays 4 around 1, you're shifting people over, and now you're doing it from, slide that over to the corner from this type of setup, a power triangle, however you want to do it, right? If you're doing a lot of ball screens, roll and post, then it can be a quick thing when she's coming up, she's setting the ball screen, right, rolling down. You can have a corner person lift and now work that entering it in and go through the same options. But whatever you do, or however you play, you have to make sure that you equip your players with the multiple ways that they can accomplish what you want, which is getting it inside. Right? Any questions with that so far? Any thoughts with that? Any disagreements with that? I'm up for disagreements as well. We good? What we got?
Because the game has changed so drastically, where everybody basically playing 5 hours, 4 in 1 all the time, and not into the whole week. So I guess the question is more practical. How would you incorporate post-game class and your 5 is actually 5 actions, stretch time?
Oh, great question, and I love that. All right, so a few things. So we basically asked, how do you incorporate post-entry pass in your 5s or your 4s, like a stretch, more of a perimeter-based play? Which, honestly, we play a 5 out, right? And we have traditional post. We also have stretch post as well. The thing about it is, even if they start out on the perimeter, right, the goal is to eventually get them to the post after maybe the defense works some, right? Because we all know that if we want to get the ball in the post, we have a really good post player, and we just tell her, go in the post, and then try to throw it, most defenses are going to be prepared for that. However, if we know we have a really good post, and she's a stretch player, things like that, we might start her on the block and then eventually bring her out. We might bring her out and then eventually bring her in the post, then bring her back out, right? Our job as coaches is to kind of move them around and get them eventually to where they need to be, right? So it may not have to run at the beginning of a possession, but if we're patient enough, right, and we give our players multiple ways to get them there, right, we can eventually get them to where they're okay. The second part of that is, for forwards that are more guard-oriented and things like that, we teach the face-up, right, which kind of leads, we'll kind of transition to finishing, right, so guards can go, you'll stay, post player, right, so if we have a 4 or 5 that's more perimeter-based, we teach face-up series. And basically all that is every time that Yaz catches the ball on the block, right, she's stepping to meet it off the block, and she faces up, and now she becomes pretty much the guard, right, and a little bit off the block. All right, so now she has the opportunity to, shoot. She has the opportunity in the space to attack a little bit. She can mix it up with what she's doing, not necessarily telling her, we just want you to seal and get the ball down here and just bang and all that good stuff. Right? So we're getting what we need, which is someone being in the post area, right? And she's getting what she's good at by being able to face up and use her dribble and use, different moves to create space. What you got?
I think in today's game, what they call positionless basketball, that a post player doesn't have to be a 4 and a 5. So you can run your 5 out and run anybody in the post if you got a mismatch. So your 5 might need to learn how to feed the post to a 2 or a 3.
Absolutely, and that's all things that we do. So right now I'm going by traditional numbers, but honestly, the way we play, we look for players who are good off the bounce, we look for players who can knock down shots, and we look for forwards that are skilled.
And you do one six out, you find out you're not looking at it.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit about it, right? So we have Yaz that said she's not a traditional post player. She's a post player that likes to get out in the perimeter. Start on the top of the 3-point line. So if I'm doing a skill workout with her, and I know she's someone who prefers to operate, outside in first. When I'm talking about building the IQ and the reads and things like that, I'll tell her, all right, I need you to give me 2 ways or 3 ways that you can get to the post eventually to get yourself going, right? So if she's someone that can handle the ball, she might start at the top of the key, and she might dribble at me, right? And then end up rolling down from there to the post, and then we're coming back and getting the ball is we need our forwards or whoever's posting up to step to beat the ball. Because a lot of times, again, they get here and they're stuck in mud, so the pass comes, the defense comes, get a tip, then it's like, oh, that was a bad pass. It's like, oh, move, so when we're talking about being a guard forward, someone who wants to operate, the more you step to the ball, you're creating that space that you want to now face up and play off of it. The other reason why we stress facing up so much is because now she can see the floor, right? When you go down low here and immediately go into, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but at our level, there's always going to be guards who are digging down. There's always going to be delayed doubles on the dribble, right? So now we're getting them in a mind frame where as soon as they get it, they can see all of it, right? They can see where it's coming from, and now they can either make that pass or they can dribble away from it. They can make those plays out of it. What you got?
Know the rules of contact for your level. It's a key piece of advice because we exploit. The rules of contact for fouling when you're facing up to when you're back to the basket are different at our level. So we teach every position to understand. If you come off a flex cut, let's say, and your back's to the basket, exploit those contact rules. If you catch off the block and face up, exploit those contact rules. Somebody touches you twice, if somebody puts two hands, it's a different type of foul. So now you're digging into their strategy quicker. So it's very important, high school, AAU, college, know the contact rules for your level.
Absolutely, great point. And the other part about that is also know your players. This may not work for everyone, right? Development and skills and things like that is not a one-size-fits-all type of formula. So when we go back to that foundational piece of what type of player are you, right? You might have some players on your team that can operate down low and mix it up and be on the perimeter. But again, if you want to play that way, where people are positionless or things like that, assess how you are developing them to do so. And if they're not being put in a position when you're doing passing drills, if your forwards are never out here making those passes, right, then it's going to be really hard for you to run things where they're forced to do so come game time. Right? So again, it's assessing your team, assessing where they're at, and then also prioritizing, do I have enough time to get people playing the way I would like them to play? And having that flexibility to know that if that's not the case, then where can I put them to where they're not in positions doing things they're not comfortable doing? Because that's the other part of it, and I got you, I see it, but that's the other part of it. When you go out in July, right, to kind of go back to that, is so you don't see post entries, but then you also see the frustration of players not getting the ball and then trying to do things that they're not good at and not having success. So now we're watching them and saying, oh, this kid's shooting these threes, and she wants to show her versatility, but it's not what she's good at. And the more that you guys as coaches can get players to buy into what they're good at right now, while working on the things that they're not great at, right, the better that they can go out and actually showcase their strengths instead of showcasing their weaknesses because they feel like they have to do something and they're not getting the ball. Does that make sense? Mark, round over time. Oh, so let's get it. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about skill development. I borrowed you, so we're good. Let me get a guard. Y'all here? Good. All right, so let's talk about guard development, right? And a few things. The one thing is when we talk about those 5 areas, let's talk about finishing. Okay, finishing is so important, right? The ability to finish layups. Now you have players on your team that are better finishers than others, but everybody can at least be baseline decent finishers. One thing that I would implore you that if you don't do to consider is to develop finishing series for your players. By position, right? By location on the court. What do I mean by that? So if I have Cynthia here, and I know Cynthia is my point guard, right? I'm going to give her a series of finishes that work for her. It can be anywhere from 4 to 8 finishes that we work on every single workout that she knows she's going to be able to use and utilize against the defenses that she faces. So for Cynthia, we start basic. I'll say your finishing series is off 1, off 2, right? Off 2 is the shot fake, right? Inside hand finish, reverse, and then some type of shot that she creates off the pivot. Now I give her those finishes not just because they sound cool. I give her those finishes because as I watched her play and watched film, I noticed that those were the finishes off what defenses were coming. Perfect example. She's super fast in passing lane. She's constantly getting steals. So her finishing to the basket off one is something that she's absolutely able to do, left and right. Right? You talk about off two. Cynthia's not the biggest, but she's going in the trees. So the purpose of off two with the shot fake is so that she can land, get the defense to apply power, shot fake, now she can go over and finish at the rim. Right? We talk about using the inside hand. Specifically if she's attacking from the corner spots. So she's attacking, she's got the ball in her left hand, the defense is recovering. Right? So now she uses that inside hand, which would be her right hand, right? To prevent her shot from getting blocked. Okay? She can do that off of 1 foot, she can do these finishes off of 2 feet. Right? Same concept goes with reversing the ball. So now she, instead of that dribble, she's taking one more, she's getting to the other side of the rim, she's able to finish inside, she's able to finish over, or she's able to finish off two with the pound bounce to the other side. All reverses, but 3 different ways. Okay? So there alone, you're talking about, anywhere from 5 to 6 finishes. Then we're talking about being able to jump stop in the paint and make a decision. So she attacks the rim here, right? She lands on 2. Now she has the options to decide which pivot foot is hers. She can pivot through, she can pivot back, buys her time, the defense leads one way, and now she can create a shot that even if she misses, it's in a reboundable area for our bigs because it's going to be a soft miss, right? And then of course we talk about just that ability. If she blows by her person, the defense rotates outside the paint, the charge goes to take like a mini pull right outside the paint. So that's like a handful of finishes that I would give Cynthia to work on. And every time we do a workout, we would incorporate those finishes. Okay? Now if Cynthia, let's say she's a bigger guard, right? Let's say she's about 5'9", 5'10", I might add some finishes that include power, right? Where she can kind of just power over the defense. So she might rip an attack, and she might just take a power bounce to 2, lean in, and score over, right? She might go from attacking downhill, and then turning it into a quick back down, where she attacks here, and then now she knows she has the advantage, it's here, it's power, right? Now she's going to work, okay? Let's say Cynthia's a post player. If she's a post player that's skilled, right, 4 or 5 that has off the bounce, same stuff applies. So she'll have her basic finishes, and then maybe I'll give her 2 or 3 that work with post play, right? And her advantage, which is size. So she's attacking downhill, same thing, she turns it into a back down, and then maybe it's a shoulder fake, and now she's scoring, or whatever it might be. You guys can see where I'm going with it. The concept is how do we equip our players, right, with things that can help them, and a progression that makes sense to them in terms of if the defense does this, then you have this. Because one thing I found in coaching college, high school, is when you equip players and give them options, right, they feel like they have power now, right? They feel empowered. They know, okay, if the defense does this, then all I gotta do is this. And because they've prepped it enough, it's almost second nature, right? For Cynthia, next Cynthia, I have been working hard today. For example, we have 2 point guards on our team right now that are under 5'6", right? One, Chanel Williams, she's from New York City, a little bit, lightning quick, shifty, go by anybody. And then we have another one from Michigan, not as quick, savvy, smart, can shoot it, knock down, right? Solid, moves well without the ball. For both of them in their finishing series, I have about 4 floaters that they shoot, right? And that's unique to them because when they get in the paint, 6'3" is rotating over, 6'2", length. Most of the time the players guarding them are going to be 5'8", 5'9". So they know automatically, once again, keeping in mind they're not just getting in here and running people over, but they know that they're equipped with different finishes that include a finish that's high enough for them to And the same can be said, like I mentioned, with the face-up series. I'm gonna bring Yaz back out here real quick. So that's a perimeter-based finishing series, right? When we talk about a post-based finishing series, we're gonna go through a few options of what we do in the post. That's a face-up series. So the first thing that happens is every time that she catches the ball, we want her to step to meet the ball. So Yaz is starting on the block, which we like. Every time the pass comes, she's stepping to meet the ball on two. We want both feet to land at the same time, right? So we're just working at, right, two step, right, we're getting here. Every time she catches the ball, this series is going to be faced off of facing up, right? Reverse pivoting into a face up. So she's opening up to the baseline, perfect. The first option of it is to rip baseline and score. Simple enough. So let's get the ball out here, step to meet it on two, right, rip baseline, score. Now, keeping in that effort of detail, let's talk about a few things. When she faced up and got it, pivot was great, but she got it, and she went 1, 2, boom, then go. We want to be as efficient as possible. So when we're talking about detail, you are getting it, you're facing up, and it's one split, boom, boom. There you go. Because the split second between those 2 seconds when she went here and here, is the defense getting up in her, is the defense moving it away, is the help side defender or the ball side guard who's swiping at the ball getting it. Right, so let's try that again. Let's just sweep to the baseline. Got you. Boom. Nice. And we'll go over everyone like twice and say both finishes got to be different. So if she goes same side, the next one, put it out to the other side of the rim. Got you. Other side of the rim. Boom. Yeah. Beautiful. Right? So when we talk about progression, because that's another thing that's so important when you're teaching players, teaching them in progression, so they understand if this, then this, then this, is if you went baseline, they take that away, come on in. So rip to the baseline, you don't have that, right? You got to go. Hey, you're crazy now. Let me show one time. So we're going, rip it to the baseline, right? It's not there, we're jabbing, and now we're coming across the middle, scoring either at the front of the rim or getting to the other side. Really emphasizing keeping that right foot planted into the, that left foot planted into the ground. All right, so let's try it out. Here, jab, good, cross leg. I like it, right? And then now tell her, all right, same thing, different finish. Mix it up. All right, so we got it here, got you bounce. Rip. Get all the way to the other side. Right? Yep, you got all the way to the other side there. Now again, based on your personnel and the players that you have, if you have players that are more advanced and have good footwork, you can add a second pivot to that. Right? They're opening up to the baseline here, they're getting here, they're playing, now they're coming back, right? They're scoring. Now that's something that's a little bit more advanced, but as you get the basics down, right? The foundation of the feet, it becomes a lot easier for them to incorporate another count into that. But keep in mind and understand, if they can't take away the baseline rip, you tell your players to do that every single time until they can stop it. Right? You don't have to overcomplicate it. You know, you all have players who literally, they go by the girl, then it's like, oh, she fell. Bring it back. Like, boom. Right? The same thing can be said in the post. Sometimes they get almost paralyzed with the fact that they have so many moves. Right? If you're blessed with that, that's a good thing. But we're talking about the basics here. Right? So we had the rip baseline. After a while, the defense jumps that, so now we're ripping to the middle. Right? Once we take away the middle, now we're pivoting back the other way. Okay, so rip baseline, boom, back here, they take away, bring it back, then go. Making sure that you're explaining to them every step along the way. If the defense does this, now spin back. And when you're in the teaching phase, in the rep phase, this is exactly what she needs. Do it again, do it again, do it again. This is why you're doing it. This is why you're doing it. There's not live defense yet, but you simply stepping in, again, is giving them that mind frame of, oh, okay, instinctually, if you jump out, I need to spin back this way. Okay, so you keep doing it until they're comfortable. Then finally, and again, I'm going through 4, but there's endless depending on the skill level of your player, is you face up, defense is nervous because they got beat. That was the money shot for Georgetown all day. face up and you shoot it, right? So you get it in, hands down, they're not guarding, shot. Right? So we progress through these moves every day, but all of our forwards know that this is their series, right? This is what they have to counteract what the defenses are doing. But to be honest with you, even at our level, even the best defenders, if you are solid with how you rip, if you're good with angles, you're going to get whatever you want. Then it becomes a matter of them bringing help, second defender, third defender, and then making the right read out of it. So we'll tell them a couple times too, okay, you made all these moves, now they're nervous, they're doubling out, kick it back out, repost again, get it, quickly score. Right? So as much as you equip them with, and it's not something we're doing once a week, this is something we're doing every single day. This is literally how we warm up in practice when we do pre-practice. All right, forwards down here, or guards that can post down here, and we run through it all the time. We do it in individuals, we do it in group sessions, we do it post-practice, we do it when they have extra shooting. But trust and believe, every single player that comes in, they travel at first. Their feet are a little off. They pivot the wrong way, or they pivot the opposite way. But when you stick with it, and you do it every day, it becomes habit, and it becomes second nature to them. Thanks so much, I appreciate that. All right, any questions with that so far? Any questions with that? Anything, as we rattle off? I know I had 20 minutes, like 20 minutes ago. What you got?
Yeah, I just wanted to put an emphasis on how you're teaching the post and everything. And people forget, last year's national championships in Baylor, they didn't score a single three in the final game.
Absolutely.
They played through their post players. And everybody goes about how, the game is changing and three-pointers. But I think if you play your type of basketball, whatever that is, and if you do it right, you can be successful.
That's a great point, right? See, sometimes you just got to stay true to what works for you. And going back to that point of just personnel. You have really good post players one year, and really good guards the next year, then what does it make sense to do, right? You're probably going to shift things a little bit, but, you got to be able to be adaptable and know that you got to play to the strengths of your team. You got to get players to play to their individual strengths, while also helping them to grow and get better at the things that they're not great with. But there's going to be some players that just never are going to excel at things. Like, after a while, honestly, we say by end of sophomore year, if you're not hitting threes, forget about it. So many times, too, we get caught up on, oh, we got to make them good shooters. They got to shoot. Sometimes it's overload. If you have players on your team right now that are really, really athletic and raw, just get them really good at attacking the ball and good at rebounding. There'll be a spot for them at a high level, right? We'll work out the rest of the stuff, but we just want to see what are you good at, right? What do you do exceptionally well consistently? So instead of getting a player who they have all these areas that they're okay with, really lock into what they're really good at or solid at and enhance that, right? And allow them to understand that they can just excel at that, and the rest will take care of itself. Sometimes it can be overload if you try to get good at too many things. Any other chat?
So when talking about the 6 categories
Yep.
of skill, which one has the lowest rate of development, and how does that affect the lower recruiting categories?
Ooh, lowest rate. I mean, it really, honestly, we were talking about this, and a part of it almost feels geographic. There's certain places, I know it sounds crazy, but if we're looking for a shooter, I'm calling folks in Indiana, hey, you got anybody for me? As crazy as it may sound, because they just kind of emphasize certain things, certain places. East Coast or New York, you see we're a lot more athletic, quicker, we're faster, and a lot of times when we're playing and taught to play, we're taught to play an aggressive style, right? So you're going to see a lot more emphasis on finishing, in places like that. You go down to Texas, I don't know what they're drinking and eating out there, the girls are big. Right? So if you're looking for a post play and you're going down to Texas, and the emphasis is probably going to be on the post play and things like that, the different skills there. But when it comes to looking for a certain level and what has the lowest, honestly, for us, we know for the way we play, passing is so important. So we look for players at all positions, no matter what, they have to be able to pass. Because, whether you're on the perimeter or the post, it requires so much passing. Our offense is all about spacing standpoint, from an attacking standpoint, from a post play standpoint. So we really, really put an emphasis on that. What you got?
You spoke about IQ,
Yes.
right? biggest thing with IQ, I think it's pretty subjective. Like everybody has their own opinion of what an IQ guy, IQ is, right? For us being in college, having to recruit players, we get that text, hey coach, you might want to come see my kid, he's bad, he's athletic, has a great IQ, right? And then we get there and watch the kid for 5 minutes and like, it has no clue. Zero clue, right? Right? So what we may think of what IQ is from your standpoint and being at the level that you're at after seeing and thinking that you know, what does IQ look like for you?
Oh, that's a really good question. It can mean a lot of things. To be honest, we'll take a player with a higher IQ than a player who's just like naturally athletic or raw or anything like that. Because when you get to games, right? Yeah, because when you get to games, your athleticism can easily be neutralized if you're not skilled, you know, or you don't have a high IQ. So for us, IQ is a lot of things. IQ is just an understanding of like your game first and foremost, like what you do well. You know, players that can understand like, okay, I just missed 4 threes in a row. I should probably not take a fit. You know, like let me do something else or get my teammates involved. IQ are players, when we have that first conversation with them on the phone, I always engage them in a basketball talk. You know, like, so are you watching any college basketball? You watching it, like, what kind of basketball are you watching? You watching NBA? And beyond the surface level conversation of, yo, I love LeBron or Kyrie's handles are crazy. Like, talk to me more about basketball. You know, like, how do you envision yourself? Like, I always ask players, what do you think is the best part of your game? And they'll be like, oh, I can shoot it, I can pass it, I can do things, I'm good. You know, and it's just like, as a basketball player, you should know what you do well. And you should be able to articulate that to anyone who asks. And then you should be able to go on the floor and actually show them, right? So their understanding of themselves and what they're good at, players that actually watch the game. And girls basketball, and it's unfortunate, a lot of girls basketball players don't watch basketball.
No.
And then and more importantly, they don't watch the level that they aspire to play at. So there's so many girls who aspire to play college basketball that don't even watch women's college basketball. And so it's like you're asking them questions about like, do you prefer to play up-tempo, half-court, you know, what do you want to play in? They can't answer that because they just play and then they clock out. You know, so for us, IQ are players who watch the game, players who can understand decision-making, like statistically, turnovers and the amount that they have is a great indicator of their IQ because they understand, you know, where they should go, where they shouldn't go, how deep they should drive, you know, they understand the right types of passes they should make, they understand who not to pass it to, right? So you gotta have an understanding and an IQ of the game to know that I'm not gonna put this girl in a bad position by passing it to my 6'5" center at half court and expect her to run the break, you know? And they're not gonna look at you like you're crazy when you tell them like, why'd you pass it to her, right? So IQ is that. IQ is also like just their hunger to get better too. You know, like are they trying to do some learning on their own? And when you go to their practices in their open gyms, they're always vocal. And they're not just saying stuff. They're actually saying like key points. They're almost saying what the coach was getting ready to say to them. Like you gotta space the floor out. Or like you see somebody about to take a crazy shot, they're like, whoa, bring it out, reset. Like that, those things are IQ to us at that level. We see players that are engaged in the game that way from an analytical standpoint, just an understanding. We know that they either, chances are, their parents are coaches, you know, or they hang around coaches, or they play a lot of basketball. So, kind of answer your question. What you got?
How do you deal with players that are very high IQ but very low EQ?
Ooh, good question. High IQ and low. He said, how do you deal with players that are high IQ and low EQ? You know, you got to throw them in a lot of situations where they have to figure it out. We have players on our team that are so smart that sometimes they talk themselves out of like everything and overthink everything. And so when we're doing workouts with them, it's less me telling her what to do and more figure it out. You just kind of throw them out there like, okay, like this is the goal, find a way. But if I do this, find a way. There is no wrong answer, just do something. And when you put them in those situations where they're uncomfortable, they have to make a decision, eventually they have to make a decision and be okay with that. So we found that kind of throwing them in the fire kind of helps them to understand it a little bit more. Just gotta make a decision. Which guy? Yep. A lot of, how do you depict who's a Division I, 2, or 3 player transitioning from high school? A lot of times it's based some schools that are looking at her pretty. A lot of times those schools probably play a system where that kid is a good fit. You know, so it doesn't matter that maybe she's not as tall as everybody else or not as fast. She just kind of fits because she has something that she does really well that will fit into that system. So if a kid is slow, you know, it may not matter to that coach per se because they may just want her to be a spot-up shooter, right? So the best thing to kind of add to that you can do when you have a player like that is getting them to understand you don't have to do or show anything else besides what you're good at, right? Because this school wants you for the fact that you can shoot. So you don't have to listen to everybody that's saying, drive it, show your mid-post game, and show, you know, that move you worked on. The school doesn't want them for all that. The school wants them for the fact that no matter what, they find a way to get their shot, right? So that's one part of it. What you got? When we go to a showcase like July recruiting, we're looking for good players. Absolutely. We're not looking at them. Well, at least we're not. So we're looking for players that will fit our system and our style and what we need. And we're also looking for players that realistically we have a chance with.
Yeah.
So everybody can identify a really, really good player. When you go to these showcases, like you can identify the really, really good players. Now the next tier of players that maybe become like the questionables are the players that have certain skills or don't have certain skills, but do they fit with what we're looking for? So like for us, and a lot of times I get calls like, Coach, I got this player, she's an athlete, she's 6'6", she can you know, but for us, I know if that 6'6" girl isn't comfortable being on the perimeter, I'm not looking at her.
Right.
Doesn't even matter if schools bigger than us are looking at us. She doesn't fit with what we're looking for. We're looking at versatility, we're looking at filling needs. We're assessing 2 years out, 3 years out, like, okay, we have this class that's a small class, but we're graduating a lot of players, so we know we're going to need a point guard. Maybe not for her freshman year, but she might need to be ready for her sophomore year to take over that starting role. So there's a lot of things that go into it. But I'll tell you things that we're not looking for. We're not looking for bad teammates. We're not looking for high volume players who, you know, there's little productivity, but they need the ball all the time. We're not looking for players that are ball dominant because our offense is based on moving the ball. So if you're someone who needs to just kind of clear it out, let it rain and air it out, like we're not looking for that. You know, we're not looking for players who are selfish. We're not looking for bad teammates. We're not looking for kids with crazy parents.
That changes the game. Let them know. No, that changes the game. They're like, what you got to do? What's up?
I like to spoke about excelling comparison to excelling. I know on our side, on the men's side, it's a little tough. I remember I was a kid. He was a straight fighter.
Yep.
And he said, hey, coach, I can play the one. I said, I'm going to be the one that puts you down there. And we didn't end up getting it. But how was that on the women's side? You go through the same thing, same challenges of people, expectations for themselves or a little higher than what they think.
Yeah.
Let's get you there, but for now, let's master this, like you said, and then we'll work our way out.
I think one of the key things that high school coaches especially can do is get, especially if the player is good, is to get their parents and them on the same page in terms of understanding, just like you just want to get yourself there, right? And you don't want to limit yourself. So there's times when we recruit a kid and we'll say, I want to play this, this, and this, or this is the position that I want to play. And they don't understand that. It's kind of limiting themselves. Because if I'm someone who says, I don't care who you play me, just play me, right? Now you're giving yourself more opportunity to be in the game at different spots. And especially if you're playing in an offense that positions don't really matter as much, you're going to eventually get where you want to play. You just have to be willing a couple times to be in some different spots on the floor. So getting players and their parents and everybody to understand that schools and players, and coaches look for a lot of things, but you never know. Like our starting point guard one year, like tore ACL like 5 games into the season. But you're sitting here saying, I don't play the one. So you know, it's just kind of like, do you really want to put yourself in a position where if an opportunity arises, you're so the drills or things that you're doing trainer-wise and assistant coach-wise, less is more, right? Think about what you're trying to get them better at, and then just think about that player and how you can get them to do it. A lot of times it lies in the reps. And a lot of times it really relies on the fact that you don't bend when it comes to details. Force communication in all things, because there's no college level where you can just play in silence. So when we go to open gyms and sometimes like literally you can hear a pin drop, I'm like, whoa, I don't think this is a Division I player here. Because if you're not a player, or especially like guard, the point guard, if you're not a player that's talking, like basketball is not a game that's played in silence, so that's something that you have to emphasize. Sometimes we literally won't say anything in practice, just to make sure that they're the ones doing the talking. Because we're not the ones that are on the floor, they are. So if they're not gonna talk in practice, and not talk in games, then why should they play, right? So force communication, and then you wanna make sure that everything that you're teaching and everything that you're doing has a holistic approach in terms of that player, making sure that you're loving that player, you're giving that player what they need, you're there for that player, but you're not enabling that player, right? You're holding that player accountable and making sure that they're doing everything that they can do to get where they say they can go, not what you want them to. All right? Appreciate you guys. My email is P.Edwards, EDWARD3@providence.edu. I ain't giving y'all myself. I got nothing. Edward.